Okay, I don't know what that means. In any event, Laura has distributed them to all of us. I think you all had an opportunity to read them. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as prepared?
I move we accept
Motion's been made
the
by Deborah Rolfe. Have a second? Somebody second that? I'll second it. Okay. Any need for discussion on the minutes? Hearing no need for discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Thank you. I will forward those to the town clerk the next day or two. Next subject is the treasurer's report. Laura?
So our grant fund, we still have 592.14 in. The donation account looks like it's going to end, well, not end, but after we take out the portion that for the raised beds and the support timbers and all of that, and then also with the $50 steel fence posts, it'll be $3,722.67. And the budget, I know we're going to talk about encumbrances and stuff tonight.
Right.
But right now, the budget is basically run down to zero, almost, because we don't know how much the last National Grid bill will be. But there was $936.59 in there. We took out the portion of the raised beds to bring that down, the security camera, and then $50 for the two last National Grid bills. There's still $37.90 for the last National Grid bill, because we have processed one since then. So total for all of the accounts after processing all of the end of the year stuff should be $4,314.81. That includes the grant money.
Okay. Thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented? Motion?
move we
Deborah?
accept
Okay.
it as presented.
All right, thank you. I'll second it. Any need for further discussion? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good, thank you. Approved unanimously. Review of incoming correspondence. Laura?
Yep. A whole bunch of stuff related to the town's annual report and warrant and all of that kind of stuff, which obviously has gone by already. The March and April National Grid bills, and I believe also the April-May National Grid bill of $12.10 came through. I got copies of, I think it was 7 thank you letters from Deborah for garden donations, reconciliations, and the encumbrances list from the town accountant. Adcom emails. Letter of appointment for James Wheeler as a regular agricultural commission member. Select board accepts gifted garden tiller to the town. Adcom unanimously on 5/10. Town accountant requesting the make, model, and serial number, and then Carl sending the Home Depot invoice. Some kind of a phishing thing that was, are you still in business, which I just ignored. And then the town mailboxes have been moved. I did pick up the key and the mail this morning, so
Okay.
I'll set there. And then a notice from the select board, a notice of the planning board hearing on Tuesday, June 28th at 8 p.m. on Zoom. And it had something to do with
Temporary construction site at Solomon Pond Mall.
mall. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I don't know any more than that, but that was the subject of a temporary
And
construction
that
activity.
Yeah, other than that, there was just a whole bunch of those newsletter type things that I'll just list in the minutes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions regarding the correspondence? All right, very good. We'll move on to old business. First order of business there is the vacancies on the Adcom. And again, welcome Shane. I hope you'll enjoy this evening's session and consider joining our committee after you've had an opportunity to have some exposure to what we're about and what we're trying to do here.
Thank
So,
you.
welcome, and let us know at your convenience, if you would, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I have the next item, just as a reminder, as I mentioned the last time we met regarding the roof for the shed at the community garden. I had spoken to the name just escaped me now.
Door.
Thank you, Tom Doerr, a couple of months back, and he's going to get back to us in early fall on that subject. So there's really nothing new there. The next item, John Root's presentation. We had sent him an email suggesting he have his Zoom presentation in May or June. I haven't heard anything back since then, other than his acknowledging my email saying he was going to coordinate that matter. I don't know if the council has heard anything. Deborah, have you heard anything?
No.
Okay, so perhaps I should send him a reminder. I'll take that action item to do that. Let's make a note here. All right, moving on to under new business, community garden status report. Deborah?
Okay, so all the money's been deposited or been submitted to the treasurer. And Laura, you would have picked up my last thing.
Yes,
in
I
the
meant to
middle.
mention that when
Okay.
I was giving the treasurer's report. Yeah.
Yeah, so final for the season was in the donation count, there should have been a 600, if I did my math correctly, 650 from the Berlin residents, 610 from the out-of-town residents. And that's a result of a very large donation by one of the out-of-town gardeners, as well as a few lesser amounts from the other out-of-town gardeners, because they very much appreciate being able to be part of the community. So all of the thank you letters are in on that account, which you indicated earlier. So this year there are 25 Berlin residents who are participating in the garden and 10 from out of town. The insufficient funds check that came through, it was a moving situation. They had closed the account, didn't realize that the check hadn't been cashed. Lovely, lovely people. She ended up giving me cash because they didn't have checks to write another one right away. So that's all taken care of and it's been deposited. And let's see, I have received the reimbursement check for the raised beds that we purchased.
Okay.
And then I know it's later on in the agenda about the amounts that I would like reimbursed for some other things that I have purchased that the garden needed, and would like to consider $150 total, so that if I have something that I have to buy during the season, that it's like a discretionary fund that I can tap into. So I know that we're going to talk about that later, but I just figured that's part of the report.
Okay, excellent.
Everything is going well. The person that I was having trouble getting money, the payment from, the check came through, I couldn't cash it. They finally paid me in check. So all that's been settled.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions on the report that was just presented? All right, thank you again, Deborah. Very good. And that's really great that the people are donating cash above and beyond what we asked for with respect to the individual garden plots, so that's much appreciated. Okay, next item, Adcom mailbox access, which Laura has touched upon. We have received a formal email from the select board indicating that there will now be locked mailboxes for each of the various organizations in town, and I need to acknowledge that and to identify the person who's going to be the holder of the key for the mailbox. Since Laura is already holding the fob for entrance, it seemed logical that she'd be the person to have the key to access the mailbox. Does anybody have any concern over that or any questions? Okay, so I will notify the select board of that decision. The next item, Institute of Justice notification. So this is something I received personally. It was addressed to my farm, Golden Skep Farm, and it's a very large postcard type of thing. I know you can't read that, but and it's from this Institute for Justice. I did a quick, and they're out of Arlington, Virginia. I did a quick research. They seem to be like they seem to be a legitimate organization. On the front of the postcard, it says, are you a farmer who values privacy on your land? Have state inspectors ever trespassed on your land? On the back side, it says, attention farmers, we have reason to believe that the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture inspectors are trespassing on private land without consent and without a warrant. If state inspectors have invaded your privacy, or if you've heard of stories of intrusions into private farmland, we want to hear from you. And then there's an email address and a name and a phone number, et cetera, et cetera. And then it says the Institute for Justice is a nonprofit organization that fights to protect all Americans' rights to security and privacy on their private property, excuse me. For information about the Institute of Justice, visit, and there's a website number. So personally, I haven't had any of these experiences. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. I don't know if anybody else has had any situation where the Massachusetts Agricultural Department has come on your land without consent. So just to be aware. I don't intend to do anything with this, just gonna file it. Okay. Next item, and we've touched upon this already by way of Laura and Deborah's reports. Payment for the new raised beds, etc. Split between FY22 account and the donation account. So what we did for the money that was and previously approved at one of our earlier meetings for these raised beds and associated material, we wanted to make sure that we utilized our FY22 funds to the fullest extent possible, and therefore we split that bill between the donation account and the FY22 account, and we have brought that down to a minimal amount of money, as Laura has reported, to cover the future national grid bill. Does anybody have any questions on that subject? All right, moving on. I received, by way of Laura, a document from our town accountant suggesting that they process the national grid bills, and if I agreed, I just had to sign the document, which I gladly did, and we sent it back to the town accountant. Before, the process was Laura would pick it up, she'd have to drive up here, give me the bill, I'd have to fill out the paperwork, send it back to the town accountant. Like, we're not going to reject the national grid bill. So this will streamline the whole process. When the bills come into the town accountant, she'll pay them, and she notifies by way of a documentation to Laura that the bill has been paid. So we can keep track of our expenditures without having to go through all the administrative rigmarole to sign off on a National Grid bill. In line with that, when Laura received the incumbents documents, which we do, which we receive annually as we get towards the end of the fiscal year, we had to identify any potential encumbrances in our FY22 account. At the time, we identified $50 as all of the monies in the account were earmarked to be expended. One, to reimburse James for the camera, security camera, and other expenses that Deborah had in process. So at the time, we identified a sum of $50 to carry over in order to pay the final fiscal year National Grid bill. Anybody have any questions or concerns about that? Okay, boy, this is an easy crowd tonight.
We're on our
All
best behavior. We have a guest.
What's that?
We're
I
on
didn't
our
hear.
best behavior since we have a guest.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. We'll have to have more in the future. All right, so since we didn't meet last month, and Deborah ran into some minor situations at the community garden where she needed to buy, for example, or replace a watering wand that got broken. She contacted me, and she had asked to purchase supplies for $95.88, which I agreed to, and those monies would be coming out of the donation account. Now, Deborah, let me just ask you for clarification. You mentioned in your presentation earlier about a $150 sum. Is that above and beyond the $95.88? Is that what you had in mind, or?
No, it was the $95.88, the money for postage so that I could have
Yeah, that's the next item.
stamps, and then just a little buffer amount in case I have to purchase anything, then I wouldn't have to come back.
Okay,
I'm gonna hold this reimbursement for a while.
okay, so along that line, then the next item on the agenda is reimbursement of postage fees for $11.60, resulting from all the thank you letters, et cetera, that Deborah has sent out to all the folks who generously donated to the community garden. So I guess what I'm looking for is a motion that we approve a not to exceed amount of $150 from the donation account for miscellaneous garden supplies, which includes in that $150 the $95.88 for prior garden supplies and $11.60 for postage. Did I get that right, Deborah?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the motion. I hope you don't ask me to repeat it.
No,
I was going to ask you to repeat it.
I don't think that I can make the motion because I'm the one
No.
who's asking.
Right, that's right. So I made a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Is there a need for further discussion? Hearing no need, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. All right, do you need some clarification on that, Laura? Or did you get it for the minutes?
So the motion is to reserve 150 from the donation
Not
account.
to exceed 150 from the
Right.
donation account for miscellaneous garden
And that-
supplies.
The 95.88.
And that 150 includes the 95.88 for prior purchases, as well as $11.60 for postage.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'm sure I didn't word it as eloquently as you did originally. It's
Okay. So Deborah has already touched upon the next subject. We had a check that was returned with insufficient funds. Deborah has explained the reason why that happened. She's explained that we have received the cash. So that's a moot point at this time. She also, the next item on the agenda, I have labeled it uncooperative out-of-town gardener. I have to tell you, I saw all the emails that Deborah has gone back and forth with this particular situation. And first of all, she did an excellent job in handling it. Secondly, it was pure nonsense from my perspective, what she had to go through. And as she mentioned, it was resolved. But it brings up the question, I believe, since having a plot at the community garden is a privilege and not a right. The question is, if this gardener wants to come back next season, do we want to have the gardener come back or deny the ability to have a pot down at the garden? That's my thoughts. That's my line of thinking. I don't know if anybody else, Deborah, if you want to jump in on that.
I would like to see how the rest of the season plays out now that the situation was resolved. I think it was a partial language problem. I think there was a family situation, and I would like to see what happens next rather than deny at this point. But agreed, it's a privilege, and should there be more problems, then there should not be the right for someone who is not part of our community, or even part of our community, if there's a problem, to have a plot.
I agree. So, all right, I have no concerns with your approach, certainly. And I think we'll put this on the back burner. And if there are problems during the remainder of the season, or if it crops up again next year, we can address it at that time. Is that acceptable to everybody? Okay. All right, we'll let it go at that then. Very good, thank you. So the small tiller that was donated was used this year to cultivate garden plots, and the some of the tines have broken, and they needed to be replaced anyways. And Deborah, I believe, has gotten an estimate of $160 to replace them. That's just for the pots. I don't think that includes the labor. Is that correct, Deborah? Just the pots? Okay. And I would recommend that we go forward and make this purchase, even though we have a brand new tiller, which we'll discuss shortly, just to have it as a backup. And it's a more compact, smaller tiller that we probably may want to use in small spaces. So I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Deborah to proceed to purchase these tines for a not to exceed of $200. The way things are going up today, you know, the prices, it may have already changed from 160, which she got a month or two ago. So I'd like to make a motion that we expend from the donation account a sum of not to exceed $200 to replace the tines on the area. No, it's a Husqvarna tiller. But I have a second on that.
second.
All right, motion been made in second. Is there need for further discussion? Hearing no need, all in favor? All right,
Aye.
okay, James, you agree?
Yep.
Okay, very good, thank you, unanimous. All right, moving on. I don't know if we discussed this the last time, but Deborah did go forward and get the soil at the gardens, tested by the UMass Extension. And they have issued a report. Can't remember if I distributed it to everybody or not. I know I sent it to Deborah. I just can't remember. But I think it was pretty much favorable. There was just a couple of areas that needed a little bit of beefing up here and there, but overall, I think the report was quite positive as to the quality of the soil that's down there. Is that a reasonable observation, Deborah, would you say?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So if anybody wants to see it, and if I didn't distribute it, let me know and I can mail it out again. All right. James, you're next. Installation of the security cameras. How are we doing there, my friend?
I was playing with them the other day. Strawberry season snuck up on me, but I should be able to get down there probably some this Friday.
Okay.
And start tinkering.
All right. All right, very good.
And, well, James, we've changed the combination on we have a new lock.
Aha.
Did I give you the?
I think you sent me, unless it's changed again since then.
I hope not.
I can go, I'll go find out if I have the right combo. If not, I can get in touch with you.
All right. It probably hasn't since our last communication, but, and let me know if I can be of any help to you on Friday, because I'm available a good part of the day on Friday, and I will be there if you need me.
Oh yeah, no, it seems like it should be pretty straightforward.
I expect so.
Yeah, I'll avoid anything that seems like it may interfere with the roof project, but.
Okay, very good. All right, anything further to discuss on that subject? All right, moving on here. As Laura mentioned, the select board has issued a formal notification that they accepted what I call the big, well, that's what it's called, the big red 10 horsepower tiller as a gift to the town. You'll recall that earlier in the season, a unanimous individual generously purchased the tiller for our use at the community garden. And as a result of the town formally accepting it, I presume they have gone forward and notified the town's insurance company. So it should be fully insured at this point. I think Laura also mentioned that I had forwarded to the select board the formal purchase order. I ended up making the purchase for the individual who donated it, and that individual reimbursed me the $2,699 for the Troy-built tiller. And that invoice at Home Depot, I'm sure you can't read any of that, but it has all the details, including the serial number of the unit, which is now on file. So that has been accomplished. Next item, assembly of the tiller. Deborah, do you have any news on that? By the way, for your information, the tiller is sitting in my yard. It's in a crate. It is wrapped in plastic in the crate, and I have a top over it. So it's well protected. And the only concern I have is it's in the area where I'm going to be getting 3 cords of wood in the month of August.
I have a gardener who's willing to assemble it. I've just been waiting for the security cameras to come in because I didn't want to take it down to the garden and not have the security cameras in place.
Okay. What can also be another approach, it could be assembled here, and then I could move it down to my barn, and then we could move it to the garden.
Okay.
And that would allow me to get the crate and the unit, out of the way. If I or my farm hands have more time, we take on the task, but we can barely accomplish what we gotta accomplish these days.
Yeah, no, that's fine. When are you expecting the delivery of the wood?
In August sometime, I don't have a specific date, but I put it
Okay.
off, till August,
Okay,
because I also have to get 2 cords stacked that are there where the 3 cords are gonna go.
okay,
I
I'll-
put it off till August so I could stack the wood and be assured that the tiller would be, out of that area, either down at my barn or down at the community garden, whatever.
okay. I will talk to the gardener and tell him that he can get down there at any time, and then it
Right.
could be stored if we can't get it over to the community garden right away.
And as far as timing, to assure we're here, I don't know what that person's schedule is, but we're open Wednesday through Sunday, 10 to 5, Mondays and Tuesdays. We're closed, so we use that for, grocery shopping, dentist appointments and all that good stuff. In the month of July, we are open 7 days a week.
Okay, yeah, I know
Again, 10 to 5.
he works a regular Monday to Friday job, so.
Okay, either weekend.
And is when he's gonna see you.
Okay,
So I will talk to him.
okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, just a couple more items. I received, and I think I sent it all out. I know I sent it all to you. An email from Tim Wheeler, which I responded to this morning. And the good news is that the CPA request that we submitted, CPA committee, for the installation of a garden fence around the community garden is going to be taken up again by that committee this summer. And Tim asked basically if the project was, he wanted to know the current status. And I basically said, we still want to go forward with doing that. So we'll stand by, and hopefully the committee will approve the funds, at which time it would go to a town meeting. I suppose if there's any special town meetings between now and this coming May, it could be presented at that time. So hopefully we will be successful in obtaining those funds in order to implement the proposal we received to fence in the garden. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Do you think we need to revisit with Arrow regarding the possibility of price increases because of
Well,
it's a year now?
I did think of that, and in all honesty, I was going to bring that up in my response to Tim, but I elected not to. And the reason being is that I felt, today all companies are very stressed, and they have fewer employees and things of that nature. And I didn't think it would be appropriate to, I'll use the word, exercise them again. They've been very cooperative, as you know. They came out to our site, they gave us a detailed quote. But the fact remains is that if we are awarded this sum of money, we will be going out to get competitive bids. Because the size of it, it's over $10,000. So we will be required by law to obtain competitive bids. And the Arrow company that gave us the quote initially for this purpose would certainly be on that bidders list. So there's a possibility that the bids could come in lower. There could be a different approach. And there's also the possibility that the bids could come in higher. So I made the decision that we probably shouldn't exercise them. And based on the fact that we will be going out to obtain competitive bids, should these monies be approved sometime in the future. That's not acceptable. I can update my email to Tim, but that was my thinking. I just didn't want to exercise them, and then, we can't make an award directly to them because the laws won't allow us to do that. And although I have no knowledge of it, I suspect, they were aware that this wasn't going to be a quick turnaround. So perhaps they didn't sharpen their pencil as sharp as it could have been when they gave us the quote. I don't know. So that was my thinking on that subject.
Okay, understood.
All right. Very good. Last item on the agenda, which I forgot to include on the agenda, is just to point out that we have no meeting in July. We don't meet in the month of July. And that is the end of the formal agenda. Does anybody have any other comments, observations, complaints, or concerns? If so, please raise them now. And if not, we can have a motion to adjourn. Shane, thank you again for attending this evening's session. I hope you found it interesting, and
Yeah, thank you, Fab.
you're quite welcome, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Sounds good.
Motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
A motion is made, second. All in favor?
Bye.
Very good. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate it.